the toe. Oh, you know how we talked about Kimmel last night? And how Kimmel was fucking crying about... What was Kimmel crying about last night? Oh, yeah, he's crying about the wildfires, which is fine. I'm not bitching that the guy's crying about the wildfires. But he cries about the wildfires, and then out of the same corner of his mouth, when he cries about the wildfires, he then goes, and then Trump thinks that the firefighters aren't white enough. And it's like, first of all, no, that's Sam's show. Second of all, that's not what he said. And third of all, like, you kind of ruin your crying and your sobbing about the victims and the first responders and everything else when you immediately turn it into Trump, Trumpity, Trump, Trump. It's like he's got a tick, you know? He's got like their steel-toed derangement syndrome and Trump derangement syndrome. Like, you can't get him out of your head, even when you're having like a heartfelt moment, like a nice moment. And you just go, you know, I feel really bad for the people who have been displaced. And the people who have been displaced are just going through a really tough time right now, and we have to help them. And by the way, Trump's a fucking asshole. It's like, it doesn't even fit. Like, there's no reason to do that. Well, he had Bill Burr on his show last night. And, you know, look, a lot of people hate Bill Burr now. He's still doing very well. Like, it's not like anybody ruined him. But he has had this thing lately where people think his wife changed him. People think because he married a liberal that he became super liberal. But I defy you to find a time period where Bill Burr was like super right wing, because I don't remember him being right wing. I remember watching his stand up, and I know that he was very politically incorrect. And I think that's the problem, is a lot of people equate politically incorrect with being Republican, and that's not the case. But like even when he was on like Opie and Anthony, he argued with Anthony about race all the time. Anthony and Bill Burr don't get along and don't talk now. And Bill Burr hates him partially because of the wife thing and race talk. So like, Bill's always been politically kind of ambiguous. It's actually kind of shitty to be like, oh yeah, Bill just married that black liberal chick. Now he changed how he is. I don't think he did. I think a lot of people projected onto Bill what they wanted him to be. And then when he wasn't that thing, they act like he betrayed them. And I just think that's really unfair. It's kind of like when Louis C.K. went after Sarah Palin. And that was a big controversy. And people were like, oh, Louis C.K. fucking cucked to the left. And it's like, no, Louis C.K.'s always been a lefty guy. I don't understand this thing where, like, just because you find someone funny as a comedian, you think they need to agree with you on everything. That's like, what a bizarre way to live. So Bill Burr was on Jimmy Kimmel, and they were talking about the wildfires. Now, I don't live in L.A., so I guess I can't judge. But from where I'm sitting, it does look like this was a fucking man-made disaster. This was mismanagement at its worst. And when the city of Los Angeles needed a leader, their mayor was in Wakanda. Their governor was putting gel in his hair, and the fire chief was making sure we had enough gays, blacks, Mexicans, white women and stuff on the fire department. It just seemed like the priorities were fucked in Los Angeles, but here's Bill Burr to tell me I'm wrong.
You had to evacuate your home.
Yes. Like most people, I had to. I got lucky, you know, the winds moved, but, you know, the fire was coming and all that stuff, so I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet, you know?
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
I don't like that. I don't like that because you're sitting there like, oh, the internet says that, you know, the firefighters aren't doing a great job. Who said that? Nobody said the firefighters and the first responders weren't doing a great job. If anything, we were saying the firefighters and the first responders weren't getting the shit they needed to do a good job. They weren't getting the resources like, I don't know, fucking water in hydrants to put the fires out because LA needs to protect minnows up north. So like, I don't think anyone's saying that the response from the first responders has been bad. We're saying your leadership has been fucking garbage and your governor's going to try to sell the state to BlackRock.
all of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean and then just, I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds? You want to do that? You want to do that at night, you lunatic?
Again, nobody's shitting on the people trying to put the fire out. I like Bill. I'm not one of the people who think, oh, he's changed. He's soft now. I still think he's great. I just think he's misrepresenting the criticism a lot of us have. Maybe there are people who are shitting on the firemen. I don't know. I do my show and then I fuck off into the real world. I don't start reading shit again until I prep a show. But I don't really notice a lot of people blaming like firefighters and shit.
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA.
It's not, okay, in fairness, it's not the fire they're saying was mismanaged. They're talking about brush clearing. They're talking about proper management of a forest, proper irrigation so a place doesn't get too dry and you don't have crazy, dangerous wildfire conditions. Shit like that. Like, people act like wildfires are just an act of God. Yes and no. There are things you can do to mitigate damage from fires. There are controlled burns. There is brush clearing. There's irrigation. There's shit you can do that California decided not to.
There in his underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
You know about helicopters because I remember, and it's interesting now thinking about it because you said that.
About it. I know about the one that I fly. Other than that, I don't know anything about it.
You know
but
something.
If you're on
about,
the internet, you know everything.
I hope you know about it because you said that you got your pilot's license in case like all hell broke loose in L.A. You could get out of L.A. and at any moment did you think I'm going to make a run for that helicopter?
Well, the error in my thought was I didn't realize how expensive helicopters were. So all I have is a 2-seater, and I didn't want to have to make Sophie's choice with my family. So, we all piled into the SUV like everybody else. But no, man, these guys were out there clearing the trees, getting the wires back up and everything.
Right, but those guys are doing a good job. Absolutely. But, let's talk about the fact that your state and that city failed. Like, they didn't do a good job. And, in the future now, maybe we could pump a little water in. Like Anna Kasparian said, maybe we could save some of the rainwater instead of dumping it into the ocean. Maybe we could do a little more brush clearing and some controlled burns. Maybe, just a little.
It was like the perfect, awful thing that could have happened, and it did. And I love how all the chatter out there is about bands of illegal immigrants and homeless people lighting fires. They light fires every day. They're living outside. They're cold.
Right, but that's kind of the it's kind of the problem. It's that the homeless people and people living outside are starting fires, and those fires, the embers from it can carry and they can catch dry brush, and the wildfire can start. That kind of making the point there, Bill.
And this theory that some homeless guy without a car went from Altadena all the way to the Pacific Palisades, and then we have a hang glider. And they're talking about looting, but CNN and Fox News are not going to bring up the insurance companies that are just going to keep everybody's premiums and still give themselves a bonus.
Well, wait a minute. No. Those people in their underwear on the internet have been talking about the insurance companies being pieces of shit about this. They have been. I just think it's kind of convenient that we get to pick and choose what these critics say is all right and what they say isn't. Insurance companies did cancel people's policies. They are going to deny fire coverage. They're going to find ways to not pay out. And that's a shitty fucking thing to do. But then your governor and your mayor are going to sign rebuilding contracts with Vanguard and fucking BlackRock, and they're going to sell this shit down the river. Let's talk about that, too.
Yes! Free Luigi!
Whoa.
I love how they acted surprised. Why did that happen? I have no idea. He wrote on the bullets why it happened.
Boy, did you notice how quiet they got once Bill Burr came out to be a full Luigi Mangione guy? Yikes. They went from hang glider, good one, Bill. Luigi Mangione should shoot more people. Oh, come again? What now? Jesus.